Well, good morning and a very warm welcome back to another week on my allotment. Oh, it's chilly. It's -4, and for those who live in different parts of the world that may not seem like much, but here in the UK, down in the south at least, that's quite significant. The plot is all frozen, you won't be surprised to hear, and it's Friday morning. This will be a game of two halves, as they say. Because I'm planning to be up here Sunday, and Sunday is forecast to be very wet and very windy. But right now there's not a breath of wind, the fire's on. It's a beautiful, stunning winter's morning, and I love it. Big news on the plot, we've had a delivery, and I'll show you that in a moment, and I'm already making use of it. But yeah, I've got a few things to do. I said in my last video, one of the things that this time of year affords you time to do is looking after the infrastructure. And although it's frozen now, I'm hoping later to be able to paint the two shed fronts at least. But I've got a few things to potter on with. And like I say, I shall be up here Sunday as well. It'll be a completely different day, but each has their appeal. So you're very welcome. Well, here's the big news on the plot. A big, huge pile of steaming cow muck. Could not be happier. Amazing if your life is made more pleasant and happier with a big pile of poo. Yeah, delivered Tuesday evening. So yeah, really happy with that. I think it's bedding from inside one of the barns. It's mixed in with a lot of straw. But either way, it looks like really good stuff. Of course, it's an organic farm, so it's as good as it gets. So I'm going to do various things with it. You know, a lot of it will go in my compost bays, and I think, you know, there's so few people that use their allotments now. I mean, there are 25 plots on this site, and I think maybe half a dozen at most are active. And only half of those are producing fruits and veg on a regular basis. It's a completely non-productive site, really. So I doubt very much any of this will move in the next few months. So I think the main thing I'm going to do with it is leave it alone. Let it sit. I think it's probably quite fresh. Let it do its thing, and then start to put it on the beds. I'll probably, you know, if I'm still around here, do that next autumn. But we'll see. I don't know. You know, I don't have a plan. It's just as the mood suits me. I may use some of it beforehand. It would have been nice to have got this last autumn, so I could have dug some of it in or top dressed the beds with it. But that didn't happen. So anyway, pleased to have it. Really pleased. Good news. And the other side of it is still a large pile of chippings. So right now we're doing very well for on-site resources. Well, I've had a think about it, and I've decided that a couple of my beds are quite low. So against all perceived wisdom, I'm going to top dress them now. They won't be planted till April. So there's a couple of months, and then I'm going to dig it in. You know, wisdom or not, that's what I'm going to do. Well, that's this bed, completely heavily top dressed with cow muck. This bed's going to have butternut squash in April, so I'm going to top dress it now with that cow muck, which will keep these leaves that I top dressed it with down and under, and they'll rot down, and add goodness to the bed. Right, let's get the wheelbarrow. Well, I said it was a game of two halves, and this morning is Sunday morning, and the cold, frozen weather has moved on to be replaced by wet and windy. So, as regard modern weather forecasters, the Arctic blast has been replaced by storm, whatever they call it. Or as we used to call in the 1970s, last week was a bit cold, this week's going to be a bit windy. We do ourselves no favour, do we? Why do you have to give a bit of wet and windy weather a name? We don't say it was Drought David, do we? Or Drought Doris. Why does a storm have to have a name? Anyway, I digress. So yeah, the plot has thawed out. Today is forecast for 40-50 mile an hour winds, and quite a bit of rain. It rained heavily through the night. So be it. It's January. So what am I going to do today? Well, I'll show you. These raised beds right next to the shed, inevitably, as they all do, raised beds, the soil level has dropped as it decomposes. And so with all that manure, I'm going to lift out some of the topsoil, put in a big load of manure, and then put back the topsoil. I think I'm growing spinach and salads in these again, like I usually do, but they'd benefit from being up near the top. So that's my first job this morning. Well, down the bottom end, this bed in particular has got a lot lower than the paths. And this year I'm growing pumpkins on this plot, this patch here. I'm also growing pumpkins over there. And then these other two large beds are going to be used for potatoes. But this bed in particular I want to raise up. So it's a slightly bigger job, but it's still the same principle. Lift and move the soil over, drop in some of the cow muck and then rake the soil back over. I won't complete that today. I may not even start it if it starts raining heavily, but that is a job for this week, to lift the level of that soil by a good 6 inches or more. Okay, that is so much better. Right, I'm going to reward myself with a brew. Well, I don't mind admitting that that did me in. That was quite physical. It's quite a big bed. Anyway, the manure is now in it, ready to do its stuff when I plant my pumpkins in April. So yeah, a good session up here. Those two raised beds as well. And since the manure arrived, I've used quite a lot of it. So very happy with how things are. I would just say that to anyone in the UK, if you have a shop near you called B&M, it's one of those, you know, budget shops that sells everything. Cheryl and I went in there in our local B&M yesterday, and I've seen it before, and I've taken advantage of it before. This time of year they sell bare root fruit trees. Now if you go to a normal garden centre or a nursery, a fruit tree can cost you anywhere between 30 and 60 quid. Well, they sell them there 2 for 12 quid. I bought 2 apple trees 3 years ago and they were 2 for a fiver. But you know, inevitably prices have gone up. So you can buy, they've got cherry, apple, pear and plums that I saw. So I'm going to go and avail myself of 2 of their trees tomorrow afternoon after work. So if you've got a B&M near you, get yourself down there and get a bargain. So I won't be around next weekend. We're babysitting and other things going on. So it'll be a fortnight and we'll be into February then. So I hope your preparations with your kitchen garden and allotment are going according to your plan. I think mine is. And I look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks. Until then, look after yourselves, take care, bye for now.